All right, so welcome to What's New in Windows 10 Part 3. Okay, so this is Part 3 in my delicious series on the newest features in Windows 10. Today we're looking at Anniversary Update, also known as Anniversary Edition, or AU if you're too lazy to pronounce two words. This is going to be a 10-minute video, hopefully, so let's see if we can get through only the most salient, that is the most important features you need to be aware of in Anniversary Update. All right, let's jump in. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the Start menu. The Start menu is a chronically evolving project. Microsoft is constantly making tweaks, moving icons around, deleting things, adding things, and yes, in Anniversary Update, the Start menu gets nudged a little bit more. I'm going to explain some of the most important changes that you need to be aware of. Also, we're going to look at one of, well, incontestably, I think, it is probably the most useful feature in Windows 10 Anniversary Update, and that is the dark theme. It turns everything black. So what? Yeah, wait until you see it. We also have Bash, and I am unabashed to share that Linux is coming to the Windows subsystem. You now have a complete Ubuntu kernel in the operating system, and you can do everything you could do in Linux in Windows. Of course, I must caution, if you have no plans to use Linux in Windows, that is, you really don't need to, don't do it, because it does increase the attack surface of the operating system and exposes you to greater risks, because now instead of having a single attack vector, that is Windows 10, you now have two attack vectors, Windows 10 and its cousin Linux. Yes, I call Linux the cousin of Windows. If you don't like that, leave a comment in the bottom and tell me how much you hate that saying, that thing I just said there. And of course we have Cortana, right? Cortana, everybody loves Cortana. No, that's not true. Everyone doesn't. And in fact, in Anniversary Update, she gets even nosier to the point where you can't even get her out of your business. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to disable Cortana with a cool registry hack. So the Start menu, what are some of the major changes? Well, for one, all apps is gone. So if you're coming from a Windows 7 or XP world, you know that there was something called All Programs. You clicked Start, All Programs, and you had a list of all your programs. In Windows 8, 8.1, and 10, it was replaced with All Apps. You would click the Start button, you would go to All Apps, and it would list all of your apps. And by apps, I mean programs and apps. That is, programs are your conventional applications like Adobe Photoshop or Microsoft Office. Apps are mini applications that live inside the Microsoft Store. That's the distinction, the difference, and the bottom line here is that you now don't have to click a button called All Apps to get to all of your apps. You just click the Start button and all of your apps appear. Wow, that was verbose. Secondly, most used. So as you use apps, Microsoft says, hey, I noticed you just used this app. And it will pin your most frequently used programs to the top of the Start menu so you don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom to look at your other apps. And of course, there's recently added, that is, when you install a program or an app, it will show up in this recently added section, and from there you can easily launch it. Move on to the dark theme. Now the dark theme is really cool because it turns everything black. Let me explain. So if you spend a lot of time looking at the screen or the brightness of your monitor is annoying or you constantly find yourself dimming the display, this is a great option for you because it basically inverts the colors. So what is typically black, white becomes black. For example, the Calculator app looks a lot slicker. The Settings app, there are even some apps in the App Store that embrace this, that honor this setting. So I'm going to show you that in a little bit. We're also going to show you Bash. And I am unabashed. Okay, enough of my bashing jokes. You guys can bash me with my bashing jokes in the comments if you want. But Bash now comes to the Windows operating system. And again, like I said, if you don't need to enable it, don't do it. But you can enable it just by following the instructions on your screen. Again, I will also show you a demo of this in a few moments. And Cortana is on forever. But I'm going to show you a registry hack to disable her. And no, Clippy isn't back. The Clippy, as you may recall, is from the Windows XP, Windows Office XP days. It's a little paperclip icon, the mascot. He's not back, but Cortana is, and I'm going to show you how to disable Cortana. If you want to get the update, all you have to do is click the Start button, type WinVer. If it's 1607, you've already got it. If it's not, then you don't, and then you need to update by just clicking the Start button, typing Windows Update, going through the update process. And if that doesn't work, you can manually download the update by going to the link on Microsoft support page, which is right below this video. Okay, so let's jump right into this. Okay, so here we are at Windows 10 anniversary update. Let's log in, and I will log in with my top secret credentials, of course. All right, so this is Windows 10 anniversary update, and there's a lot going on here. So, Cortana can talk to Android phones. The calendar is built into the taskbar. Microsoft Edge now has a bunch of extensions like Flash, Shredder. From a security perspective, that's kind of a problem. But you can see all the updates at the URL seen on the screen. I'm just going to show you the most important ones. So first is the start menu. And so if we go down to the start menu, you can see that all apps is gone. Instead, now it just shows you all of your apps. And my most used apps are at the top, and then all the other apps are at the bottom. And of course, I can scroll down through all my apps and get to them just like I could in the past. Now, the other cool thing is the dark theme. So if I hit the Windows key and then I type colors, press enter, you can see I've already got the dark theme enabled, and because I love it. So this is what it looks like. You can see, if I type calculator, the calculator app is nice and dark. Everything looks really slick. Well, the way I did this was, again, I hit the start button, I typed colors, and then here you can say choose your app mode. By default, it's set to light, but I set it to dark. You can also choose to not show the color on the taskbar. If you do show the color on the taskbar, it shows up like that. I don't like that. I like to keep it as muted as possible. And you can even change the taskbar to look a little more colorful if you want, but I like to turn that off as well so that the theme is completely dark. All right. The other option I want to show you is Bash. So in order to get there, in order to enable Bash on your computer, you just hit the Windows key. You type developer, and you go to developer mode, for developers, developer mode, and in here you want to turn it on. After you turn it on, it's going to ask you to reboot. When you come back from the reboot, you then hit the Windows key and you type features on, hit enter, and then you'll scroll down to the Windows subsystem. For Linux, make sure that's enabled, click OK. And then when you do that, it'll reboot, you'll create a username for your Linux operating system, and then you can run all the Linux commands here. So let me show you an example of this. So if I hit the Windows key R and I type bash V, as you can see, I just brought up bash from the run key. Let me show you that again because I went kind of fast. So if I hit Windows key R and I type bash, let's see, the command this time is top. Bam, I've got top. Now, of course, I can always do it the original way too, which is just by Windows key X, A, opening an elevated command prompt, and then in here, typing bash. And now in the bash shell, I can do ls. Stop that, I can do ls space minus LAH. Everything that you're familiar with in bash shows up here. If config, all that stuff is here. Except for if config, as you can see, I've got an error with that. But bottom line is most of them are there, and that's because of the privileges on my account. The other option I want to show you is the Cortana. So in order to disable Cortana for good, what you would do is you would go into the registry. And so you would hit the Windows key, type regedit. And when you launch the registry, you want to make sure you back up before you frack up. I wanted to say something else, but I'm trying to keep it clean. So you click the file menu, you go to export, save your registry as something, preferably to a USB drive, and then you would go in here and change what I'm going to show you next. So you want to go to H key local machine, and you type software, and then once you're in there, you're going to go to policies. Oops, I think I just messed that up. By the way, what am I trying to say? When I click software to get to policies, instead of just clicking policies, I'm typing policies, and it gets me closer to where I need to be. So that policies, and I can then type Microsoft, hit the right arrow to expand it, and then Windows, right arrow to expand it, type Windows search. Now, if you don't have a Windows search option here, then you're going to need to enable it. And the way to do that is just to create one. So I can right click here, I can go to new, and then what we need is a key. We'll name it Windows Search. And then in here, we're going to create a new D word. So new 32-bit D word. We're going to call it Allow Cortana. Double click that guy, change that to 1. Okay, done. Sorry, not 1. You change that to 0. You don't want to allow Cortana. You change it to 0. And now you should be able to allow her that way. Now to see if you already have the update, you would hit the Windows key, and then you would type WinVer. And you see, I already have the update. That's why mine says 1607. But of course, if I didn't, it wouldn't say that. And then I would either manually grab the update, or I would just run Windows Update. That's really it. It's pretty straightforward. All right, so that's all we have here. Now I want you to answer a question. I really, really want to know, what was your favorite, all-time favorite Windows feature of all time? You know, it could be Windows 98, it could be Windows 3.11, or it could be Windows 10. I just want to know, what was your top feature? You know, perhaps it was Solitaire, you know, Minesweeper 98, or I don't know what it was, but just go ahead and scroll down and leave that comment.